The movie begins exactly at the ending scene of It's Part 1 Foot. The Losers Club's kids are noticed here who swear oath after defeating the Pennywise. They make a pact with each other, vowing to reunite and confront Pennywise should he return 27 years later. At that time, they will put it into death. Then the story after 27 years is shown. The festival is being celebrated in Derry Down. Here two boys are shown whom other boys were teasing. When those boys are leaving the festival to their house at night, other boys begin to trouble them. They start fighting with one another. While fighting, those community boys injure two friends badly. Lifting up one of the friends, they throw him into a river from a bridge. After the departure of those community boys, the other injured friend comes down the bridge in search of his friend. Coming down, he notices that his friend is in the hand of a clown at the opposite bank of river. At the first sight, that clown brings his teeth out, which are big and wild, and eats the flesh of his friend while biting. It is evident here that Pennywise has come back after 27 years. And the chain of killing others has also started by him. Now Mike is shown. Obviously he had grown up because 27 years had passed. Mike visits that river, hearing the news of the boy's death. He notices a penned statement with blood, come home, on the pillar. Looking at it, he immediately gets understanding that Pennywise has come back. Mike searches the details and the contact numbers of Losers Club's members, coming to the library. He was the only Mike who had left in Derry Town. His other friends had settled in the different places. Searching out the contact numbers, he calls to all friends one by one. Mike calls Bill at first, who was a reputed writer now. In the beginning, he does not recognize Mike but later knows. Mike calls him for a meeting and Bill eventually agrees. Then Mike calls Ben, who was now a richest person. At first, he also does not recognize him. After it, Mike calls Beverly, who was the wife of an aristocratic person. She is beaten by her husband because of Mike's call. In return, Beverly leaves the place after killing her husband. In the end, Mike calls his another friend who is worried after hearing it and commits suicide in the bathtub while cutting his vein. The suicider's name is Stanley. All friends return back to Derry Town and meet in a restaurant with one another. They had their childhood memories in Derry Town, so they please while discussing these memories. Then Mike reveals the purpose, why had he called them here. Mike tells, Pennywise has returned back again after 27 years. And the series of killings has started. He says, they will fight Pennywise together because they had taken blood oath. They will kill him. All are frightened hearing it because no one was willing to confront Pennywise again. Then they open their fortune cookies, one by one. After a great discussion, fortune cookies pieces of papers arrange a sentence. Stanley could not cut it. They are all worried, reading this message. Because they understand, there is something wrong. Something has happened with their friend Stanley. Coming out of the restaurant, Beverly calls Stanley. She comes to know about the death of Stanley. Because he has committed suicide. Knowing it, they are more horrified and begin to leave one by one. In the end, Mike convinces Bill to stay with him. Mike takes Bill to his residence, which was library. Taking Bill into his house, Mike drugs him while dissolving it into the water. Consequently, Bill starts visualizing. Mike shows him antique stoneware where they can imprison Pennywise. Mike reveals to Bill that Pennywise was imprisoned in this antique stoneware by an American tribe in the 18C, who had performed a ritual. He had met with that tribe and also stolen their antique stoneware in order to imprison Pennywise in it. Bill is able to visualize what happened with Mike. At last, he agrees. On the other side, Beverly tells Ben in a hotel that she has nightmares about her dying friends. She also tells, she had already dreamt about Stanley as he will die, committing suicide. They think, they will be dead as such one by one as Beverly has dreamt if they don't kill Pennywise. At last, they also agree to be with Mike. Mike and Bill also come there. And all friends plan to end Pennywise, getting together. Mike informs them, they will have to perform a ritual to end Pennywise. They will have to bring all past connected things in this ritual so that they may end Pennywise after burning those items. And they will perform it using antique stoneware. They begin to search the connected things, separating themselves. First of all, Beverly goes to her childhood house where she used to live with her father. There she meets a lady who was living there now. Beverly searches a letter from the hall room which was given in her childhood by Ben. That lady attacks her, transforming into a demon when she is about to leave the house. But Beverly runs at the exact time, taking that letter. Coming there, Bill stops at sewerage where Pennywise had disappeared, taking his younger brother. Coming to sewerage, Bill asks while shouting and crying, Why will he make victim of his brother among many kids? Then Pennywise voice echoes in the sewer pipeline. He says, I wanted Bill. Not getting Bill, he took his brother. In the sewer pipeline, he notices his younger brother holding a paper boat which was given to him in the childhood by him. He struggles to drag his brother from the sewer pipeline while putting his hand there. And Pennywise tries to pull Bill inward with the help of many hands. Getting free his hand quickly, Bill comes outside the sewer pipeline. And a paper boat is in his hand which was given to his brother by him. And he gets his connected thing relevant to his past. Richie finds his childhood coins and other friends also get their past connected things. Then they again move to the ancient ruins house getting together where a well is situated. Pennywise attacks them as they enter the house. Pennywise writes, home at last, on the abdomen of Ben while scratching it with a knife. Then the head of Stanley appears before them which belonged to his childhood. His head spreads the many feet out like a spider, and that spider attacks Richie. Richie is rescued by Ben and Bill. Then they all go to that well where they find a secret way like a largest cave. Going into that largest cave, they reach at a place where Pennywise had come into being first time in this world. It was big construction. Going into it, they take their position in every corner and Mike places that antique stoneware at its mid. Mike inflames in that antique stoneware. And all put their past connected items in it. Then they start a ritual holding the hands of one another. They utter a sentence again and again. It means, turn lights into dark. 3 deadlights are seen descending towards that antique stoneware. Actually, these 3 deadlights were the actual form of Pennywise. Those deadlights gradually descend into that stoneware. It is covered by Mike. Then a red-colored balloon comes from it. It is blasted after inflation and Pennywise emerges from it. Then Pennywise asks them in ironic tone, did Mike not tell you the way to perform ritual rightly? Pennywise reveals that all performers will come to an end according to this ritual if they complete it. And Mike had kept it a secret from his friends. Hearing it, all are gone upset and infuriate Mike. At first sight, Pennywise is transformed into a big spider and attacks them. And he shows them the different vision to each. He makes them afraid from those things which are scareful for them. Pennywise elevates Richie into the air, revealing his terrifying deadlights. And encouraging himself, their friend, Eddie, throws an iron rod towards Pennywise which hits on his face. Consequently, Pennywise gets injured and starts afflicting. Seeing him in this affliction, Mike thinks as he has got success to kill Pennywise. Coming from back, Pennywise attacks Eddie using his spider leg, and they had known as they are at death door. Then Mike reveals that Pennywise is in its dangerous and strengthful form. They cannot defeat him in his condition. For it, they will have to reduce his size. Once again they confront Pennywise bravely, uniting themselves. They also make him a target of humiliations. Being humiliated on their part, he is reduced into a small size. As he is reduced into very small, Mike pulls his heart out, and they all crush his heart, uniting their hands. At last, Pennywise is dead. Then they come to their friend Eddie who had been wounded by Pennywise. They check as he has also been dead. Richie and the rest of friends are also worried. Then they all are missing their childhood badly. They receive the letter of their friend Stanley who had committed suicide. He has written it for all before dying. He writes, he had got frightened after receiving the call of Mike. He tells, he knew that he will never be able to confront Pennywise. Coming there, he will only become trouble for them instead of helping them. So he preferred to commit suicide. And the movie ends along with it.